Hi there, how's it going? Entropy here today with another video. Today we're going to be talking about what is the winning image from a more beginner-friendly level. Why do we need a goal with the deck? Why don't we just play the best cards, available? To a more intermediate level. Okay, so applying this, what kind of decks, really need this, and more advanced level is to inspect this yourself and see. At a bigger picture, how deck building works. So, there's no need to deny it. Good cards are good, right? You have your overlords in the world. You have your Phantom Blaster dragons. You have your Tsukiyomis. These cards are good, just flat out good. They do what they need to do, and they do it well, cheap, efficient, effective, right? But something that I've noticed that's pretty prevalent in the community is the idea of hybrid decks. Hybrid decks always exist, right? But the fact that it's hybrid means that, obviously you're trying to mix and match, the best cards of two worlds. But what are the negatives of using that approach? So let's talk about good stuff. Good stuff is kind of something that I found in the community pretty recently when I've been trying to study up the different decks that people have tried to create. So for example, on the left we have good stuff Kagero, you have Waterfall, good card, Overlord, good card, you play other stuff like Blockade, good card, and on the other hand, we see Royal Paladin, good stuff decks as well. You have Galahad and Garmor, you have King of Knights, you have Soul Saver, but primarily, let's just compare these two clans, and primarily what I've seen is Waterfall, Overlord, and Galahad, Garmor. Of course, this is primarily from set 2 content, right? So let's see why Waterfall Overlord works. It works because, well, each of them actually do what they need to do and do it really, really well. And they don't clash with each other. They don't synergize necessarily, but they don't conflict with each other, right? So Overlord, Counterblast 3, it clears up the rear guards, it goes for face, it can potentially attack up to 3 times, right? Waterfall, on the other hand, on the Vanguard, it can attack your opponent 21k plus the 3k from itself with a booster 30k, 31, 32. Blockade works itself really well as well. So good stuff Kagero works because it's about flexibility, right? It's about, okay, no matter what I mulligan, whatever grade 3 I draw into, it works. So I can mulligan greedily for grade 1s and grade 2s and play really controlly, more aggressively, whatever you want to try to do. On the other hand, good stuff doesn't really necessarily, work in Royal Paladins, right? If you think about, the prevalent ones that I've seen, Galahad and Garmor, they do two different things, and their starter doesn't supplement the strategy. On Kagero's end, Conroll works universally, right? Counterboss 1, right now, the index, search for Airmo, right? If you need PG, search for PG. If you need an 8k booster, search for 8k. If you need to mill and go through your hand fast, go for Gojo. It just works really, really well. It tutors specifically. It works for any Overlord clan. That's why it's good stuff. For Royal Paladins, if you start with the Galahad right chain, well, you lose one of the potential interceptors that could help you late game with Garmor. On the other hand, Garmor doesn't really work with the soul at all. So you're put into an awkward situation where half the deck does one thing, the other half wants to do something else, and they don't collaborate with each other. So let's look back into the anime, where I hope most of you started the game with. If you actually played through the game, the story mode actually covers this as well, I believe. And if you're like me, you might have been really into the game because of the actual value of the plot in the original anime. So here's a quote from the 34th episode of the original. Do you have a clear image of how you're going to win with this deck? If you can clearly imagine it, you should be able to naturally understand which cards are necessary and which cards are not. So why did this quote pop up? Well, if you recall or go to Wikipedia, you'll see that this is from the summer camp where Aichi and Ko they just lost to AL4, I believe, in the first nationals, and they're completely decimated. They lost horribly, and Aichi gets some help from the Dimension Police gang. So the the DP gang, they look at Aichi's deck, and Aichi plays like, King of Knights, he plays Soul Saver, and similar to the situation previously, Soul Saver plays with Soul, King of Knights doesn't. It doesn't conflict as much as Galahad and Garmor, but they don't supplement each other well enough to warrant playing a hybrid deck. So if we assume that Galahad and Garmor is not the most optimal deck, which I can see some arguments for why it could be, but personally I don't think so, what are some better alternatives, what's some gooder options for you Royal players out there? So first, on your left, Galahad, Soul Saver. Galahad plays with Soul, Soul Saver plays with Soul. There's synergy, right? You could use the Galahad Ride Chain, ride up, collect Soul. Once you're done with your counterblasting with Galahad, go to Soul Saver, finish the game with high powers. You can beat that heal out of your opponent and still go through that heal trigger and win the game. Okay, but unfortunately, Soul Saver isn't that great of a card. Neither is Galahad. So let's look at a more meta oriented deck, Garmor MOB. Now personally, I still don't think Garmor MOB is very synergistic, but it is still more optimal than the previous two examples. So Garmor gives you the defensive options, more intercepts, and MLB gives you the offensive crit pressure. So the strategy is, you play your normal MLB strategy. Wingle Brave is a great starter. It threatens your opponent a lot. It even psychologically pushes your opponent to damage deny you. And so you take less damage early on. And then when it goes to late game and you've both exhausted your options, if your opponent's at 5 and you don't need that crit pressure anymore, you go to Garmor and you have your intercepts and you stall out the game and you win. Right? So of course it's not as synergistic as the example on the left in terms of synergizing with Soul, but Garmor patches up the weakness of MLB and helps you get an advantage in the mirror matches and other potential matchups in the meta right now where MLB is more lacking, and so it is more viable simply due to its card quality in the card pool. So to end this really quick video, I just want everyone to know that there are always trade-offs in the game, right? Is MLB better, or a pure MLB build better, or is Garmor MLB better? A lot of these decisions, are based on your meta game. In the paper format, it would be based on your locals, right? Like if a lot of people play MLB as well, maybe playing Garmor MLB would be a good idea to pocket. On the other hand, in a ranked fight situation, in Cardfight Vanguard 0, perhaps a more optimal pure MLB build is more straightforward and more effective because you're more consistent, you get to your goals faster, and of course it's all about the winning image, right? Make it clear and simple, and you don't have to think as much. Your opponent will struggle due to the consistency, and you just win. All right, thank you so much. I hope you put some thought into deck building. The idea of good stuff. I do believe that obviously there are superior cards over others. Power creep is real. Card quality is very important, but how does that play a role in deck building? I hope you guys take some time to think about it. Again, thank you very much for watching the entire video. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate the wholesome comments from the community so far. Not a lot of activity, but I really was not very that confident with presenting more more convoluted or more deeper topics, and the fact that there's a decent and pretty well reception gives me some confidence in providing more of this type of content for you guys. I hope you have a good day, and please do check out my other videos and give me some thumbs ups and subscribe so I can continue making further content. All right, until next time, bye.